Hello, and welcome to the Reach or Miss Show, the podcast for the customer-focused entrepreneur, where Hayut Yogev speaks with entrepreneurs for entrepreneurs about reaching or missing the critical point of approaching the right customer with the right message at the right time and place. The point where business success starts. And here is your host, Hayut Yogev.
I'm so happy and excited to have here with us today Tom Charman. Hey, Tom.
Hey, how's it going?
It's great to have you here today. Tom Charman started his first technology company at the age of 18 and gave a TED Talk on the future of technology at age 23. He has represented the UK at 4 Startup World Finals and currently mentors for Startup Weekend and Virgin Startup. He has advised the UK government on entrepreneurship, was shortlisted for Future Business Leader of the Year, and was named one of 20 young entrepreneurs to watch on 2017. Tom, just share with our listeners what you've done until now. Can you please share with us what are you doing today and where are you heading?
Sure thing. So today I'm one of the co-founders and CEO of Compass. It's a mobile application that uses artificial intelligence to learn about who you are and what you like to do, and then presents you with travel recommendations based on your personal interests. So currently we're operating in 4 cities across Europe. We're about to expand into other cities in Europe and the rest of the world at the same time. So that's kind of the vision for where we're moving towards. We currently work with Visa and a train operating company in the UK as well.
That's right. How long have you been doing that?
So we've been working on it for about 2 years now. We had started the company in April 2015, and that was after I sold my last company.
And how long has it been on air? Running already?
Yes, so we launched the application in January, officially in January of this year. So about 6 months now.
I'm waiting for you to come to Israel as well.
Definitely.
That's great. And where are you heading? What is the next step?
So we're currently fundraising. We're raising just over £1 million at the moment. And we'll be using that to patent some of our technology, which is what we're in the process of doing at the moment. Expanding into other European cities. And looking to engage users from across the world when visiting European cities.
That's great. Can you describe in a few words who your customers are, or who are you planning your customers to be, and how did you figure out why these are your customers?
Sure. So I guess it's best to start with how we worked out who our customers were. So when we started the company 2 years ago, we built a blog before actually building any of the technology to understand if there was a market. In about 6 months, we had around 10,000 people who were actively reading our blog every single day, and then looked into the demographics and the cohort data for these people and realized that generally speaking, they're 18 to 34-year-olds that live in the city and want to kind of find things that are different from what they normally find. So generally speaking, our target market is 18 to 34-year-olds. Both male and female, generally looking to kind of spend a bit of money going to new places, to take friends out for drinks, and really just trying to understand the city that they live in better than they currently do.
There are so many apps there dealing with traveling, trying to give everybody what they need, what they want. What did you figure out about what is special about you that giving your customer what they really want? How do you know you are doing that?
I completely agree. When we decided to go from a blog to a mobile application, we really needed to work out what would make us different from any other application in this space. So I think the 2 USPs for us, the first is the technology, the fact that we learned so much about the individual, making sure that everything that you see is based on who you are and what you like to do. So it's completely personalized to each individual person. That's the first.
So I'm sorry, this is a part of the technology, the ability to study well?
This is the technology. So this is the artificial intelligence that really learns about what you like to do, who you are. It takes as much data as possible and analyzes it. to make sure that the preferences, the things that you see are based on your unique interests, so that what you see and what your friends will see will be two fundamentally different things. So that's kind of the first USP. The second USP is the content itself. We make sure that the content that we deliver to you, to other users, is personalized, it's handpicked, it's curated. So you don't find Starbucks or chains of places that are on the application. What you'll find is unique, hidden, local places. So we really want to support the local businesses to make sure that the places that you visit are different, unique, and more enjoyable than the same old places that you visit every day.
I already want to join. Can you make an exception for the 35 rule?
I think we certainly can, definitely.
That's great. I would like to ask you, first of all, it's not your first company and you are experienced in this field, and I would like to ask you for your best advice about your concept or belief on the way a startup or entrepreneurial business should approach its customer. What is your best advice for our listeners about their customers' approach and focus?
I think the most important thing is that you understand who your market is and that you build something that they will use. I think I see too many times entrepreneurs and people that want to start a business thinking that because they have the problem, everyone has the problem. So the big thing for us, and in my opinion, the biggest piece of advice I can give to people is before you go and throw everything you can at starting a business, test it, build a minimum viable product, get the product out there and see what people say about it. And only then, if people really love what you're doing, build it out and really try and take things forward, which is exactly what we did with the blog before we started building the mobile application.
Did you do the same at your previous business, or did you have any failure connected to that?
Yeah, my previous business was successful. So we followed a very lean startup methodology, making sure that we were constantly iterating and developing based on what other people thought of us. The business before that, it was unsuccessful. And I believe partially the reason that it was unsuccessful is because I spent too much time building what I thought people needed instead of actually going out and asking people what they thought of the product, which is why for me now, whenever I get asked for a piece of advice to give to new founders, is to go out and get constant feedback on your idea. Don't protect it. Don't try and hide it. Tell people about what you're doing and see what they say.
Yeah, you probably won't be surprised to know that this is the best advice with everybody that we talk here. Having said that, I think most of entrepreneurs are not really doing that, or perhaps they don't know how. But I would like to go further and ask you, we talked a bit about the failure, but I want to ask you, what is your biggest, most critical failure with customers? Tell the story itself, the one that affected your entrepreneurial journey the most.
So I guess for me, it was overestimating what I thought people needed. I saw people struggling with a particular problem, spending too much time on their phones, and it was a problem that I wanted to solve.
Okay.
Therein lies the problem. It was a problem that I wanted to solve, not a problem that needed solving. So it was at that point where I realized actually, instead of spending so much time focusing on what I believe are problems, I should go out and learn about the problems in society, tackle some of the bigger problems, look at these big moonshot ideas that could change the world in the future, and then use my expertise and my understanding to at least work towards one of those solutions. So that's the point for me that I realized that I needed to step away from that business and start working on something that had a bigger picture and a bigger vision.
Can you share with us how did you realize that? What happened there?
Sure. So we built a basic product and we took it out to the market. We had downloads and it was going okay, but it just wasn't growing fast enough. And then we realized that we were spending more money actually acquiring customers than we were on actually developing the product. And that's when we realized that we needed to work on that and in fact change it and make sure that we found a way in that the users were telling their friends about it. I think that's the most powerful thing about marketing. If you've got people telling other people about your product, that's when you know it's successful. That's when you know things are moving in the right direction. And if you're spending money just acquiring customers that never use the application, that's when you've got a problem.
Totally agree with you, of course. And now can you please share with us or tell us the story about your greatest, most significant success as a result of the right customer focus or something that you did right about approaching your customers, however Tell me the detailed story. What exactly did you do? A specific campaign or something that really worked and you knew that you are starting to follow what your customers really need?
Sure thing. So I guess it was while we were working on Compass in the early days. I think we built an application. We built a basic product. We were happy with what we believed was the right product. We took it out to the market. We got friends and family downloading it, and everything seemed like it was going well, but we realized people weren't continuing to use the application. So we went out, we got a big group of people together and said, right, be as critical as you can about this product right now. And we got a lot of feedback, and in a weekend rebuilt the application, or rebuilt the front end of the application to take into account all of the things that our customers had been saying to us. And that's really the point where we started moving towards. We saw people beginning to tell their friends about it. We saw more frequent downloads. And most importantly, we saw people staying on the application and continuing to use it afterwards. So this was kind of in October of last year. And we were actually out at the world finals of a competition in Copenhagen, the startup competition.
Oh.
We came fairly well. We came in the top 5, which was fantastic. But I think the reason we didn't win was because we'd spent too much time, again, just not enough time focusing on the customer and what the customer really wanted. And ever since we started really focusing on the customer, that's when we started seeing the growth of the company. And now we're growing at kind of between 80 and 100% every single month.
Wow. I must ask you something about this specific story because I think it's really interesting. First of all, how did you gather with these people? Did you all come to one place? Did you send them something? How did you talk with them? And the second, if it's possible to share, is what exactly did they tell you that you managed to change and make them stay or come back to the application? Can you tell the story itself?
Yeah.
Or if it's a secret, of course.
So we sent out an email to a group of people that downloaded the application, saying, would you be prepared to come and give us some feedback? And I mean, I like to believe that people do things for free, but of course you do need to give them some reason to turn up. So in London, the easiest way to get a group of people together is bring a few beers and a few pizzas.
I think it's everywhere.
Yeah, I think
we stole it from you, not the pizzas, but the beer, and it works everywhere.
It works everywhere. So we did that. We brought a big group of people together, and really sat down with them and said, what don't you like about the application? You know, so the customer experience was the thing we were focused on. It's the way the application worked, looking at the profile, looking at the feed, and what things did they like and what things did they hate. And the things that they said they didn't like, so there were a few things to do with the way that the application actually functioned that they didn't like. It wasn't intuitive and it didn't make sense. And then that's the point where we realized, hey, we need to shift from a burger bar, which is something in an application that kind of comes out from the left to the right, to having the application features down at the bottom so that people could quickly tap between the buttons. And for us, that was a fundamental change for the business. And that's where we've moved to today.
Wow. I think it's fascinating the way everything is connected together. You know, the idea and the awareness together with the specific technology and the specific way you are putting the app itself, it's really fascinating. Can you recommend the best or most effective technological or digital tool that's related to customer-focused marketing or sales that you use and you think it's really a big shot?
Yeah, so there's two ways to look at it. I mean, for us, the thing that is most important to customers is retention. So people coming back and using the application time and time again. The way to do that is to have a good customer experience, an easy and intuitive, interactive design. And these are the things that we wanted to focus on. So we used tools like Sketch, we used Proto, we used Marvel, all of these tools that allow you to build up a basic design of how the front end of the application would look before building it, getting feedback on it, testing it, and then actually developing it into the application. And that means that therefore the things that you're developing actually have purpose. You know that people like what you're building, as opposed to kind of someone building something for the sake and hoping that their customers will come. That gives you a much more powerful, it gives you data on the thing that you're building.
Well, once you started to approach your customers and doing some marketing or sales, is there any tool that you think that might worth sharing?
When you're actually trying to market to customers, there's all sorts you can use. If you want to reach out to mass markets, there's things for getting emails. I'm not a big advocate of those things because I don't think cold emailing necessarily works. I think the best things that you can use is if you're actually trying to market the product, you need to start using digital marketing tools. So, simple things like Google AdWords and Facebook ads and just simple things that get people to see your brand and understand what you're building and then come over just to have an interest in what you're doing. I think the other thing that you can do is if you want to really engage with your customers is to build things like Go Squared and various other tools into your website as an example so that people can reach out to you and talk to you through chat messages and actually talk to you straight away and integrate that with your Slack channel so that when someone reaches out to you, you can immediately find out that someone's doing so and then reply to them. So I think that's a good way of making sure that you're constantly engaged with your customers.
Did you use anything? Do you have an example of something that you use?
Yeah, so we used Go Squared in our website, and it's a simple chatbot. When someone comes to the site, it says, "Hey, is there anything we can help you with?" And then you can talk to the chatbot, and then obviously we get a message and a notification to our Slack channel, and then we can reply from our Slack channel as well immediately, so that people can immediately talk to us. We've now moved away from that, and we're using Sumo. And that gets people to sign up to our newsletter, so then we can send out some information to them about, things in their city that they should do. So signing up to us gives you an immediate benefit, an immediate reason as to why you should work with us, why you should download the application, because you're getting something for doing so. And that's important as well.
It is, and it sounds as a great advice. And I want to ask you, is there any person, a service provider like a mentor, consultant, advertiser, etc., that had a major impact of your customer success and can help other entrepreneurs as well? And I can say that if you prefer, you can choose a book, but I would like to hear a person if there is anyone.
Yeah, sure. So I guess things for us are a little bit different. A lot of entrepreneurs will say who their role model is or what their favorite book is that allowed them to succeed. Now, I mean, if we're going to say book, then a really good book to read is 0 to 1. But for us, it wasn't about that. It was about building a strong advisory board who understand the industry, who know what we're building and why we're building it and help us. So as well as having a team that work with the product on the full-time side of things, we also have 2 non-executive directors. One of them's the ex-senior executive for Cisco and AT&T and has an experience in the telecoms industry. And the other is the ex-managing director of Ernst & Young. So that's our non-execs. Then we've also got an advisory board who have got experience in companies such as TomTom, Google. And these are guys that no one will necessarily have heard their name before. Now, I hope that some people would have heard their name at some point. But these are people that are really developing our business and making sure that when we don't know something, they're there on hand to help us. So I guess a slight spin on things, instead of saying an exact person, what I recommend to every startup is find mentors, find advisors, find people that you can rely on when you need some help and you don't have an answer. And they're the people that are going to make sure that your business is driving in the right direction as opposed to, just not knowing what to do.
I really like that because it seems like this time you just did everything right. Everything for you, I mean, but you really calculated your steps and it really seems that it worked for you. And I love when a plan works. What are you excited about? What is the one thing you are most fired up about today, most excited about today?
I think the thing I'm most excited about today is the disruption that startups are causing across multiple industries. So for us, we're trying to disrupt the travel space. Just like Airbnb is, they're trying to disrupt the travel space as well. Uber's trying to disrupt the mobility and transport space. The thing I'm most excited about really is the future and not just the future of technology, but in particular the future of artificial intelligence. I think my background is in this space. I gave a TED talk on artificial intelligence last year, and for me it's the power that this technology holds is what's most exciting. And I think over the next 5 to 10 years, we're going to see a fundamental shift in the way that people work, live, and do things because of artificial intelligence.
And you're also talking about machine understanding and so on?
Yes, yeah, exactly. So machine learning and all of these kind of tools that and processes and theories are kind of allow machines to understand data and then make decisions based on this data. So, we couldn't do this. I mean, if you just stop a second and think, 7 years ago, there was no such thing as an iPad. 10 years ago, I don't think we even had an iPhone. And now look at where we are today. I think now we're talking about having, we all wear watches with our phones in. We all have various other things. And, there's even people now that have chips in their hands that allow them to get through train barriers because it's quicker, it's convenient. So that's the thing that most excites me, the speed at which technology is accelerating.
A lot of things are really affecting our success, and I guess there were several that affected your success at the past and today. But I want to ask you, if you look back, what is the one success factor, the one thing that really helped you to succeed so well?
I'm sure every entrepreneur says it, but for me, it's determination. It's about not giving up and constantly trying, no matter what the odds are. If we look back at my kind of history, I had to leave school when I was younger. And then joined a new school, and 2 years later left with grades that were some of the best in the country. And that came down to my sheer determination and focus on wanting to achieve something. So I think for me, it's the determination of not just myself, but my whole team, and them working towards what they believe is a good goal and something to work towards. So that's the thing that drives my success is the level of determination that myself and my team have.
It sounds really convincing, and no, it's not the answer of all the entrepreneurs that we interviewed. I think a lot of times it really meets the different character of each of us for everyone, for anyone, but I'm sure determination has to do with that. Before we say goodbye, I would like to ask you for the last piece of guidance that you can share with our listeners, and then if there is any way for people to connect or contact with you and with the app already.
Definitely. So I'm actually going to give 2 pieces of advice.
Wow.
The first is very mundane, and lots of people will say it. And that's just never give up. That's if you believe that you're working towards something that can change the world or have an impact on people, test and make sure that you are having that impact and you are building something that people want. But most importantly, never give up. The life of being an entrepreneur, 1 minute you're on top of the world and next minute you're ready to kind of give up on everything. And you can't do that. You just have to keep working towards the goal. The second thing that I say to lots of people, because it's a problem that a lot of people have, is don't be afraid to share your idea. The more people that you tell about your idea, the more people that are likely to use your product, download your application, buy from you, whatever that looks like. And for me, that's the most important thing, is be prepared to share your idea and don't hide away and lock it in a safe, because then it's not going to go anywhere. With regards to kind of staying in touch with me, you're always more than welcome to reach out through LinkedIn or, just email me. But the other thing, of course, is if you want to find out more about what I'm doing, then you can download the application. You've got 2 options. You can go to the Android store or the iOS store and just type in Compass app with a K and 1 S. Or you can go to our website, which is compassapp.com, download the application from there. But I really urge you to do it, because we'd love to know what you think. This is all about getting customer feedback on the application to make sure that everyone's having a good experience.
And Tom, will it work for everyone from everywhere? Will it work from other countries besides Europe as well?
It will work, but you'll only be able to see the application in use in London, Berlin, Munich and Birmingham at the moment. So if we're not in your city and you want us to come to your city, then reach out to us so that we can connect with you and start working towards making sure that it's launched in your city as well, which is something that we believe in as well. We want our users to tell us where we should launch next. So that's another important thing for us as well.
It is, and it's very unique. It is. It gives the customer the power.
Exactly. And that's what this is all about.
Wow. Tom, I really like this conversation, and you said in a short time so many gems that everyone can use. And of course, every link you talked about will be on the show notes of this interview and this episode, and you can reach Tom directly. So thank you so much for being here.
No problem at all. Thanks for having me.
Thank you. Bye-bye. Have a nice weekend.
Bye.
And for you, our listeners, until the next time, it all goes down to this. You either reach or miss. Keep reaching your goals and vision. Bye.
Thank you for listening to the Reach or Miss Show, the podcast for the customer-focused entrepreneur. You can find all the information, links, and resources that was mentioned at the show in our website, reachormiss.com. See you next week.